Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for Friday, December 16th, 2016. It's currently 10 a.m. and we have a lot to talk about as we have a winter storm approaching the region that's going to bring a threat for snow, sleet, freezing rain, and eventually some rain, and then crashing temperatures Sunday night. So we're going to get a mix of everything over the next couple of days. Winter, spring, and winter again. Currently, temperatures are very winter-like. Unfortunately, they range from the single digits to the lower teens over the northern interior, mid to upper teens in your suburbs, upper teens to lower 20s along the coast and in your urban areas. Winds are starting to veer to the northwest at around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Those winds will continue to veer and eventually veer to the northeast as high pressure exits the region, and that is a very key observation because if the winds do not veer to the east, which they should, then that would lead to a much colder forecast than what we currently are expecting. But when we take a look at the data, clearly that high pressure system would be off the coast and we will get a southeasterly wind by tomorrow morning. So, when take a look at the radar, very important observation. First of all, we're pretty much high and dry, and this is not reaching the ground. But the fact that this is already showing up ahead of this storm by about 6 hours is a very interesting observation, and it supports the idea that we might be starting this storm a little bit earlier than what was forecasted a couple of hours ago, and that could have some impacts on our snowfall accumulations as we move forward. It is snowing in portions of Michigan and in Wisconsin as our storm is organizing, and you're starting to see precipitation break out in the upper Midwest and in the central and southern plains. On the infrared satellite picture, very interesting observations once again. Again, here's our high pressure system that is sitting up pretty much over to the eastern Great Lakes and shifting over central Pennsylvania. This high pressure system will move due east, and that's really important because if this high pressure system was moving towards, let's say, Maine, that would mean the cold air would be able to be locked into the coast and it wouldn't move. But with high pressure shifting off the coast, and this is really key if you're just starting to learn about meteorology and you're a kid and you want to learn what's the difference between a snowstorm and a snow to rain type storm, one of the key observations you always want to look for in the forecast is where is that high pressure system. If you have a high pressure system in this area right here, well, buckle up because it is going to be a very snowy ride. But if that high pressure system is out here in the Atlantic, that means your winds shift off to the east, which comes off the Atlantic Ocean, and that means snow will eventually at some point change over to rain as warm air overwhelms your surface areas. So that's a little bit of education for you. So that high pressure system is supposed to exit out the coast, and what we're starting to see is the development of our storm out here in the Rockies. Now what's going to happen is that we're going to a low pressure system consolidate over the southern plains and then lift up towards the eastern Great Lakes over the next 48 hours. In the process of that, this warm front will expand out to the southeast coastal waters and then move northward into our neck of the woods. Now, a very interesting observation is that we're already starting to see strong lifting developing over the plains. Now again, the colder the cloud tops, the stronger the lifting. These are cold cloud tops. These are pretty impressive out here in the plains. So what this is telling me is that we're already starting to see strong lifting associated with this storm already starting to develop, possibly a little bit more stronger than what the models have been suggesting. So that could lead to an earlier start time in this snowfall, let's say around 10, 11 p.m. rather than 12 or 1 midnight. And that's important because that means snowfall is starting when it's a little bit colder, and that means you can get a little bit higher snowfall accumulations developing. So we're going to watch that very, very carefully in the observations. One thing that we can say for certain is that when this precipitation moves through, it will be moderate to heavy. Then the question is, at what form will it be falling as moderate to heavy? Will it be rain, freezing rain, sleet, or snow? And that will determine just how much you end up with this storm. So when we take a look at the forecast currently right now, we have our low pressure system developing here, our high pressure system shifting over our region. For this afternoon, you can see that high pressure system will move right over us with increasing clouds throughout the day. Look for temperatures to rise into the upper 20s, but those temperatures are going to be late tonight. Okay, it's going to be late in the evening as we continuously warm up with this high pressure system shifting off the coast. By the time you get to about 7 p.m., you can see that high pressure system off the coast. And with the position like this, that will lead to winds from the southeast coming right off the Atlantic. Again, if this high pressure system was here, we would be in trouble. But it's not. It's over the Atlantic, which means we will eventually change over to rain. So by the time we get to 1 a.m., well, we got snow throughout the region developing. Now, again, this might actually happen a little bit earlier, more towards 10 to 11 p.m. rather than 11 to 1 a.m. And that could make a huge difference in terms of how much snow we actually get from this storm before we start to see that mix over. So again, as we head towards Saturday morning, you can see that snow is building into the region. You start seeing sleet and freezing rain mixing in as well over southern New Jersey to Philadelphia metro, and look at Pennsylvania here. Now between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. on Saturday, we're going to see a significant change in our precipitation. It's going to go from snow to sleet and then quickly to rain along the coast. But over locations like interior eastern Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania, northwestern New Jersey, the Hudson River Valley, northern Connecticut, you're going to see a period of sleet and freezing rain with this storm before we finally go over the rain. So here's what I'm expecting in terms of impacts. Along the southern New Jersey coast, not much. Trace of snow, if that. By the time you wake up, it'll be rain, and most of this will be washed away. Not that big of a deal for Atlantic City. However, as you move a little bit further inland over interior southern New Jersey and along the coastal regions of central New Jersey and off towards Long Island, you could pick up 1 to 2 inches of snow before it mixes over with sleet and then finally rain. Then we get periods of rain throughout the day. Again, for the most part, by the time you wake up about 8, 9 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday morning, a lot of this is going to be washed away and it won't be that big of a deal. Now here's where it gets a little bit more interesting, because for southern Pennsylvania, like around York, for the Philadelphia metro, up through central New Jersey, New York City metro, and over western portions of Long Island and southern Connecticut, I think the cold air holds on a little bit longer for various factors which I discussed in premium videos, which you can check out for yourself in video on demand for only $2. Anyway, for this threat, I still like 2 to 4 inches of snow here. Now I know the National Weather Service is doing 1 to 2 inches, okay, so we're off by 1 or 2 inches, but I think that this snowfall coming in is going to be a heavy burst. And I do think that somebody in this area here is going to pick up that additional inch or 2 inches from those heavy bursts of snow. So most locations will be around 2 inches, but watch out for that 3-4 inch potential. And then there's going to be a period of sleet and freezing rain before we go over to rain. There's always that time period, and the models never picked this up very well, where you get this cold bowl of air here in central New Jersey. That's why I have this bowed out a little bit. And of course, it's going to take a little bit longer for that cold air, for that warmer air to work into New York City in this scenario. Again, you're going over the rain. There's no doubt about that. And if you're under a subway, or should I say over a subway, most likely this won't be too much of a concern in terms of freezing rain because it's so warm. But there's still going to be that threat. And remember, your surface, after being under temperatures in the teens and single digits, and teens in New York City, is very cold. So the air temperature might be 35, but the actual surface might be more like 29, 30, 31 degrees. So that's another factor to consider as we do change over to rain. Initially, that boundary layer, that very surface touch, will still be below freezing. Then as you move further into Lancaster, Hershey, to the north of Philadelphia, up towards north central New Jersey, southern Hudson River Valley, and into central Connecticut, this is where I think we'll still see that 3 to 6 inch snowfall. Again, same idea. Most locations around 3 inches. Watch out for that burst pushing you up to 5, 6 inches of snow. And then we're going to have to really watch out for that ice with a tenth to a quarter of an inch of sleet and freezing rain. This is going to be a concern. I think that's being under forecasted and something that we really need to watch. And then my major concern for snow and ice, Scranton, Allentown, up towards central Hudson River Valley and northern Connecticut, northwestern Connecticut, should I say. You're talking about 4 to 8 inches of snow. Again, most locations around that 4 or 5 inch mark. Watch out for that heavy burst pushing up to 6, 7, possibly even 8 inches of snow. Then it's going to change over to a prolonged period of sleet and freezing rain. And this right here, up to a half an inch, that's going to be isolated. But I'm very concerned that the heaviest precipitation in these areas is going to fall when temperatures are at 30, 31 degrees and it's rain. The guidance is starting to show that. I'm very concerned. I've seen this type of scenario before, so definitely be on guard for that scenario. Hopefully it stays as snow longer because it's easier to remove snow than obviously ice. The good news is that by the time we get to the evening hours, everyone's above freezing, and by a good amount. We're talking about mid to upper 40s over the interior, lower to mid 50s along the coast. And by Sunday morning, ahead of that cold front, temperatures continue to skyrocket. So we're in the lower to mid 50s over the interior, upper 50s to lower 60s along the coast. Anything that's frozen on the ground is melted at this point, and we are seeing rain coming in with the cold front on Sunday afternoon. Now, the concern here is Sunday night into Monday. That cold front's gone. Could see a few lingering snow showers, but that's about it. But the concern is that temperatures by Monday morning fall into the upper teens to lower 20s. That's called a flash freeze. That means black ice. That means that if you're walking outside on, let's say, a parking lot or some sidewalks, there will be some icy spots, so you use some caution. Temperatures don't move much on Monday. Could see a few flurries out there. Temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s, so it's below freezing all day long on Monday. On Tuesday, high pressure generally controls, some scattered cloud cover, lows in the mid 20s, highs in the mid 30s. On Wednesday, high pressure shifts off the coast. We have temperatures moderate a little bit towards normal, lows in the mid to upper 20s, highs in the lower to mid 40s. On Thursday, we have an area low pressure starting to develop off the coast. Temperatures, though, will be warm. We'll have lows in the upper 20s, highs in the lower to mid 40s. Then on Friday, watch out for a few rain snow showers in the morning hours. I don't see a major accumulation out of this at all, but could be a passing shower here and there. Temperatures will range from the lower to mid 30s for lows and upper 30s to lower 40s for highs. And then looks like a tranquil period of weather for the start of Hanukkah and for Christmas Eve and Christmas, with temperatures pretty much where they should be for this time of year. No torch this time, no temperatures in the 70s like last year. This year, lows in the upper 20s to lower 30s, highs in the upper 30s to lower 40s over the interior, and lower to mid 40s along the coast, pretty much where we should be for this time of year. That is your forecast discussion for today. Thank you for following NYNJPA Weather. Stay with me on Twitter. I'll be updating throughout the day and through this evening with aggressive live coverage tomorrow morning starting at about 4:30 a.m. Thank you for following, and as always, stay safe out there.